Hi everyone, Amazing here. Welcome to the last tutorial of this particular Excel dynamic dashboard from the scratch. So right now in the previous videos we actually have done a lot about this particular dashboard. What is left today is how to actually create this dynamic slide in and out menu. So can you see that we have something actually hidden right here that actually if we click we're gonna see it. Right now we have our sliders right here, so if we try to place the slider, what we're gonna see right now is actually dynamically we're gonna see it some kind of update itself automatically. So that is exactly how it works. It updates itself every single time we place any filter on it. So we can still have this one on and actually place more filter on it. Now we bring up this filter. Here is another filter of result. Now here we go. Now before we actually move ahead and actually create this particular dynamic Excel dashboard, let me just show you what the dashboard is all about. I mean what you're about to get into is all about. But this is exactly where we're going to concern ourselves much about today. So right now I'm going to actually hit on this particular aspect right here. So now here we go. We have this crime analysis. We have the data set about crime analysis. This is the instruction. If you have this workbook downloaded, please take a look at this and actually evaluate what you have to do before you actually get into work. So right now we are to analyze the data collected, a survey data collected about bad government and the era of the internet. Which one actually carries more weight in terms of crime increment? Is it the bad government or the bad politicians, or the internet that actually increases crime in our society most? That's exactly what data is all about. So right now we've actually making a lot of progress by actually using this particular style of dashboard creation to make our dashboard much more interesting to read and to use and all of that. So check it out and you will see exactly what we have done right here. So right now I'm going to actually click on the right workbook that we're going to start creating from the scratch right now. So for that I'm going to actually have to close this right now because we don't need this again. We are done with this particular one right here, so we don't need it. So the right workbook is what we're going to get into right now. So welcome to the right workbook right here. So we've actually done a lot with this. So this is exactly where our tutorial had been actually going on and on. So now we're gonna actually have to consider ourselves with what we have right here. So we don't have anything right now. The first thing we have to do is for we to actually go to the top level right here and actually hit on insert. So from insert we're gonna hit on this particular shape right here, and we'll take this type of shape which is round same side corner. So if I click on it, I'm gonna actually have it drops right here. So the next thing I'm going to do right now, I'm going to leave my shape this way and go to the top level and actually rotate it to 90 degree. Exactly, this is what it is, rotate 90 degree. So right now I'm going to resize this. I'm going to actually resize this exactly like this. I'm cool with this. So I'm going to move it down to this level and I'm going to make it smaller. What about this? Exactly, I'm cool with this. So the next thing I'm going to do right now is to right click on it and actually choose on shape. So from that, what we need to do is to go to line and actually give it a border, and the border I'm going to give to it is this particular black, which is lighter, 25%. So the next thing I'm going to do right now is for me to actually go on fill and fill it with white color. Exactly. So now I'm going to go to shadow and I'm going to apply a shadow on it. So apply this shadow, all round shadow, and actually remove this to 0%. So make sure this is on 0% right here. Exactly. So if I actually have this closed right now and deselect it, this is exactly what we have. So it's going to actually match any of the color we choose right here. It's going to be cool with it. So the next thing we're going to do right now is for we to actually start what to duplicate this into 4, because we're going to be having 4 filters. Which is 4 slices. So I'm going to be duplicating this as well. I'm going to bring this down. So nice one. So we've done a nice work right here. So the next thing to do right now is for we to actually bring our image on this particular aspect. So we need to actually place some images as we've just seen in the previous one. So let's see how we can get images right here right now. So right here we actually placed our images on this particular shapes we have right here. So the next we're going to do right now is for we to actually click on this particular page layout. So once we click on page layout, we can actually come to this selection pane right here. So the selection pane is going to actually help us. So right now here we go. So we need to actually give these names that we can actually identify when we're actually trying to write our VBA to actually make this some kind of dynamic and responsive. So right now we need to actually do that right now. So first of all, I'm going to click on this one right here. So this is the name I'm going to give to this. I'm going to say BTN, so which is button. So BTN underscore age group altogether. So like that. So next one I'm gonna actually click it right now is actually gonna be my city. I'm gonna have a slider named city, so I'm gonna actually say btn underscore city. So I'm gonna name them all like that. Now to actually make it fast and have a very quick tutorial right here, so I've actually have them named, which is exactly what we've done in before. Actually went behind the scenes to actually have this created. So we've named this to be icons. So the images are icon and the shapes are btn. So btn means button. So right now that we've done this, we are going to start writing our first VBA that is going to actually make this some kind of responsive and dynamic. So let's see how we can actually get this feature done. So I'm going to have this opened and I'm going to go to the top level right here and I'm going to hit on developer right here. So if I hit on developer, what I'm going to do with developer is for me to actually go to Visual Basic. So here we have our Visual Basic right here. I'm going to click on it. So now my Visual Basic is up. So the next thing I'm going to do right now, as we have our Visual Basic on right now, so we're going to bring it back again by clicking right here. We have our Visual Basic back. Is for you to actually name a new module for this. So how do we do that? It's either you come right here to insert, or you right click on this particular module and have it inserted. So now we have it inserted. I'm going to actually go to right here and rename my module. So just go to property window. So here we have our module. So we're going to rename this to be what? To be menu underscore in underscore out. So menu in and out, that is exactly the name we've given to it right now. So this is exactly what it is. So this particular module has some things inside it, but this module is actually new. It's actually empty right now. So how do we start writing our code that is going to actually work out for us? So the first thing is for we to define variable that we're going to be calling in all the buttons. So we're going to use this dimension. So dim for dimension. I'm going to say dim width. We're going to define the width. Okay, dim width as long. So dim width as long. So I'm going to hit enter. So the next thing right now is for me to actually create sub, and you know what sub does? Sub actually surround your codes. Every code is gonna that you're gonna have that is gonna work on this particular shape right here is gonna be within this sub. It's just like marking a territory that actually belongs to a particular segment. So right now I'm gonna say sub, and I'm gonna give name to it. So the name is what this part is gonna carry. So sub right now is gonna be slide out. So slide out underscore what? Underscore what are we sliding out? We're trying to slide out age group, and if we come right here we can see our age group is actually btn right here. So we have icon and we have btn for age group. So exactly we need to actually slide what? Slide age group. So we are trying to name our button. So now I'm going to say btn underscore age group. Exactly. So if I hit this, now we've just gotten it right. I said it's some kind of territory, right? So we're having the same thing. So right now the next we're going to do right now is for us to start manipulating the shape. What do we want the shape to do? So it's going to be with what? Active sheet dot shapes. So I'm going to explain to you guys what it is. So open quotation mark, I'm going to say now it's going to be btn underscore what? Underscore age group. So now let me explain before I move further. So what we're trying to do right now, we're trying to say in the active sheet there is a button right there named age group, which is this particular one right here. So we want something to happen to this button. So what do we want to happen to this button? That is the next thing we're going to go into right now. So I'm going to use for next loop to actually get this ready. So right now I'm going to say for. So the for is going to actually, we're going to use the weight we have defined at the top, which is this particular weight right here. This is not new. We've actually got it right here. So weight equal to 32 to 105. I'm going to hit enter. So before I move further, let me explain what this is actually doing right here. So for weight is actually telling this particular shape that, you know what, every single time this is being clicked, I want you to move between 32 down to 105. But remind you, this is not a fixed number. You can actually play around with this and actually see how this works, because it's actually the width of this particular shape right now we're trying to define. So right now, every single time we actually click on this particular, we actually hover over this, it's going to move away from here. If it goes to 30, if it goes to 32, it's going to move away from 32 and stop at the rate of 105. So you can play around with that. So I'm going to hit on enter. So right now I'm going to change the height to width. It's going to be equal to width. Exactly. So if I actually hit enter, the next thing I'm going to have right now is for me to actually define my active sheet and see what the icon is going to look like. So we want to actually move the icon as well. As we move the shape, we want to move the icon along. So I'm going to say active sheet right now. So dot shape. So active sheet dot shapes. So we need to actually bring the name of the icon. So the icon is going to be icon underscore what underscore age group. So if you have surprised how did we get that, I'm going to actually show you that. You can see the image is actually named as icon underscore age group. So now here we go back. So I'm going to have this closed right now. So what do we want to do to the image? So we want to actually move it to the left. So we use left equal to what? Width. So minus 32. So every single time this move by 32 and actually, respond to it. So the next we're going to do is for we to actually say close, like closing, next width. And now that we've gotten this, what is the next option? The next option is that we want to have a text inside our shape. All the shapes will carry some text, but this one is going to carry a text. What kind of text do we want to have on this? So every single time we actually place this mouse over it, if it slides out, you want to actually have a text that actually give it age group. So now to have that text, we need to use this function called .text frame2 .text range. So characters.text. So this is an inbuilt function. So it's going to be equal to what text do we want to have right there? So we want to have what age group right there. So if I actually hit enter right now, so what I need to have is going for me to actually close my width. So I'm going to say end width. So right now here we go. So the next thing we're going to do is for we to actually test it out if this is working. If it's not working, it's going to throw out some errors. So let's test it out. I'm going to hit this, and here we go. We can see variable not defined. So let me show you the reason why it's telling us variable not defined right here, in case you run into such an error. So right now it is saying it as variable because we need to have had this dot right here. So right now it's not going to see it as variable. Let's see if we have another error. So now we have variable not defined again because of what? Because this particular weight right here is not the same weight we have defined right here. So now we need to actually try to change that. So we're going to change it to what? So let's see if we have another error just like that. Now it's cool, verify. But if we can see this, we don't have the age group to appear right on this particular aspect. So why is the age group not appearing? And if you look at this, the length is actually the weight is actually beyond this particular one right here, because we're actually using 150. If I use 109, and let's try that and see. Can you see that? It's longer. So if I use sorry for that. So if I use 200, let's see, we can play around with this. 200 right now. I'm gonna go right here, and here we go. It's longer than this. So you can see the weight is increasing every single time we actually increase the number. So I can actually go and actually give it the right one. So play around with it and see what this actually does. So you loop around with it. So now here we go. Normally 105. So let's see. So all we need now is to return this back to where it belongs. So the slide out or the slide in is going to actually do the remaining work. So now that we've done this ready, so now the next thing we're going to do right now is for we to create something different for it. So we're just sliding it in. So now we are sliding it out, so we need to slide it in. So how do we do that? We're going to do the opposite of what we've just done right now. The opposite in the sense that most of these numbers are going to be changed, so we don't need to copy and paste right now. I'm going to show you how it works, but if I am actually doing this alone, I can do copy and paste, and I'm going to change something. But let's do this from the scratch. So now what we need to do right now is going to be we're going to be starting this with active sheets dot what dot shapes. Now what we have right there, we have btn underscore age group underscore age group. So what are we trying to do? Sorry, never forget this quotation mark right on it, else you're gonna have some error. So what I'll try to do right now, underscore age group. So we are still trying to say, okay, now inside this particular worksheet right here, which is the active one right here, we have a shape named age group, which is particular shape right here. And what I want you to do for me right now is that we want you to actually slide it in. You get it? We want you to actually slide it in. But before then, do you know we've actually missed something? We need to actually open our sub. That is very important. So I'm going to say sub slide in. So underscore what? btn underscore age group. So if I actually take my cursor off there, it's gonna actually feel like, oh, you should actually have end of this sub. But right now I can actually copy this, cut it away from here and bring it down up, because already I have this right here. So now we are covered with this. So the next thing I'm gonna do right now is like using the for next loop again. So we're gonna loop through this, like go down. I'm gonna say for width equal to, now previously we actually used 32 to 105, so it's going to be 105 right now to what, to 32. So right now we're having it 105 right now. It's going to reduce it to what, to 32. That is the sliding we want. I believe you understand what I'm trying to do right here. So now we need to stop it by -1. Stop -1. Cool. So the next we're gonna do right now is to define the height. So say the height equal to width, and here right now we're gonna say the left. We want it to actually go left by 32. So I'm gonna just define that dot left equal to width equal to width. So now, and it's gonna be equal to -32. -32. You get that? So every single time it's like this and you hover over it, it's going to be -32. It's going to go in. That is exactly what that does. So now we need to actually see, how do we want our icon to go? We want our icon to go by -32 as well, so we need to actually define that. I'm going to use this active, so let me bring this down so that you can see that on your screen very well. So I'm going to say active sheets, or active sheets dot shapes. So now the btn, the icon we have right there is named as icon. I'm gonna say icon underscore age group. Can you see that? Icon underscore age group. So I'm gonna have this closed. So I'm gonna say right now I want you to move to left. So now you're going to be equal to width. The width, now if you're moving the width, you're going to actually control, is actually going to be defined by -32 or 32. When you get to 32, you stop. So you're going to hit enter right now. So the next thing we're going to do is for we to just say next width, like we're closing it up, next width. And now finally, do we want text to be on it when it slides in? I guess no, we don't really want text to be on it when it slides in, so we want to actually cancel the text we have right here. But right now we're not seeing our text though. Don't worry, we're going to correct that. I'm going to say now active sheet. So inside this active sheet right here, we have a shape named, what? btn underscore age group. So I'm gonna close this. So what I'm gonna do right now is the text. We're gonna actually remove the text. We're gonna actually go by actually getting this text frame function right here, frame2 dot text range dot characters dot text. I told you it's an inbuilt function, so we're removing it. We're gonna actually have it empty. So in the previous one right here we have age group inside it, but right now we are removing it. So this is exactly what we need to do, and I'm gonna say end width. This is cool. So right now let us see if we have any mess right here. It's not going to work, but I'm going to click on it and run it right now to see if there is anything we have untouched. So here we go. It works fine, just fine. It slides in, and let's see how we can actually slide this out. If I place my cursor right here, it's going to slide out. If I come here and run it again, it's going to slide in, which means this is really working fine. But one thing is not working for us. What is it? We don't have the age group right on it. So let's see how we can actually have the age group. I'm going to place my cursor right here and bring it out. So right now we want to work on this particular aspect right here. The reason why we cannot see the age group was because the age group is on a white background. So I'm going to actually highlight others to actually correct that notion right there. So right now that I've done that, I'm going to click at the top right here and make sure I go to home, and from home I'm going to change the color of that particular age group. But now it's kind of weird, right? What it is, look at this. So I'm going to go to what? I'm going to go to my, I think here we go. So I'm going to go to orientation. The orientation is going to be something like rotate text up. Here we go. We have it, voila, just like this. So I'm going to actually have it on bold, and I'm going to crank up the text a little bit. So now here we go. You can still have it up. So now I think we are nicely okay with this. So if I actually go back to VBA, and you see what's going to happen if I actually move it in, we're not going to see the text again. So now we have it out right now. I'm going to put my cursor on the slide in. So if I hit this, it runs and it goes inside. We don't see our text any longer. If we want to see our text, we have it this way. So now do we have to write this code over and over again? I guess no. What we are trying to do right now is to recycle. I have what I call recycle. We need to recycle through this code. I'm going to copy it and change or tweak it. Just change some few things and we are good to go. So I'm going to copy it and show you how to actually do that. So just comment this single quotation. This is optional. I'm going to actually say now the next one I'm going to do right now is going to be region, and I'm going to actually have this. Here we go. It's a comment. Now I have it pasted. That marks my comment. So the first thing I'm going to change is actually this particular one right here. I'm going to have to change it to what? Change this to region. So, and I'm going to change this to what? I'm going to change this to region as well. So region. So which means right now it's going to only work for this, not this any longer. So for it to work for this, so we're going to have to change everything we have right here. This is exactly what we need to change. So we are changing this particular one to what? The btn to what? To the region btn. If we go right here, we can see for region we have btn for region, and we have btn for what? We have icon for region. So we need to actually change all that. So for the icon, I'm going to change it for region. Now for this particular name we have right here, we're going to have to change this particular one to what? For region as well. So we're going to have region on it. And the next one is going to be, I think we've done the slide out, so we're going to go to the slide in and actually do the same thing as well. The slide in region. I'm going to have my region right here, and I'm going to have my region right here. So let's see if this is really working. So if this is working right now, it should slide in and it should give us what? Our text will slide out. So I'm going to hit OK. Now voila, it's working, really working for us. So now the next thing we're going to do right now, we're going to see if the text is inside it. So we want to see region when I run it out. Exactly, this is what it is. So right now I'm going to do it behind the scene and actually give it to others, and let's see what we actually have right there. Now as you can see, everything is working fine. We've actually slid everything in, and the next thing is for we to actually use our mouse to actually get it, to get it out and to take it in as well, which is to slide in and to slide out at the same time. So how do we do that? That is going to take us to the next level, the next step right now. So let's see what we can actually do to actually get that done. I'm going to go to the top right here and activate my property. So here we go, we need this particular property right here. So the next thing I'm going to do right now is for we to go to insert, and here we're going to go and insert this particular label. I'm going to click on it and actually draw it down right here. So here we go. So now we have this. I'm going to actually place it right on top of this, but before I actually place it, I'm going to go right here and click on this particular shape right here. I'm going to have all of them highlighted and see what I'm going to do to it right now for a good reason. So I'm going to go right and do it the same thing, do the same thing to this, and do the same thing to this. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to right click and actually bring them to the front here, bring them to the front. So whatever goes in now will definitely be under it. Can you get that? So here, this is going to be under this right here. This is exactly what we want. So what we're going to do right now, I'm going to actually make sure I make it smaller right now. So now what I'm going to do is for me to actually make sure I have it duplicated. But before I do that, I'm going to go on this particular background color and actually make sure I double click this. Okay, border, I don't want any border on it, and I go to the color right here. I'm going to have to go right here and put it on transparency. So where the heck is the color? Let's find out. So right now we want to put it on transparency, but before we do that, we have this particular label right here that I want to actually have to clear it away. So we don't want any name to be on it. So now we need to actually come to this particular aspect where we have this particular back style up. Okay, I'm going to click on it right now. Here we go. If I actually take my cursor away right now, it's still there. I'm going to actually click on it. You can see we find it right there as well. Now this is exactly what we need to do. So before we actually go ahead and do something different, I'm going to actually have to duplicate this and actually give it to others. So I'm going to have the same thing right on this particular one right here. So make sure it's actually surrounding it. I'm going to duplicate it for this as well. I'm going to have it duplicated, and this is going to go for this. So right now what we need to do is for we to actually name them. So if I click right here, I'm going to see this label one. So what I'm going to do right now is actually have to name this one particular one, but to be and it's going to be action. I'm going to say action underscore age group. That is for that one. So I'm going to have to name this one to be action underscore whatever we have right here, region, we have city, and we have result. Now for easy identification purpose, I've actually given them the names that is going to actually that's going to have some kind of connection with the image we have right there. So you can see we have action, region, and stuff like that, because this is what's going to actually make our make our button or our shape to be some kind of very responsive every single time we actually hover over it. We're going to actually see an action. So what I'm going to do right now to actually have that, I'm going to double click on this. Here we go, we have this right. So I want to actually make sure we do it on hover. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to go to right here, it's now on click. I'm going to change it from what, from mouse from click to mouse move, and here we go, which means we don't need anything from here down to this spot. So here we're going to have some kind of little code that we're going to actually add right here. So how do we do this? This is very, very important for you to take note of, else you're going to actually flop when you're actually doing yours as well. So you're going to have to click on this particular one right here. We are doing on sheet VBA right now. On sheet VBA, we actually on what, on the dashboard itself. This is exactly on the dashboard itself, but right now we're going to go to our module, and from the module I'm going to actually copy what, I'm going to copy my sliding. Okay, first of all I'm going to copy my slide out from here. So my slide out, I'm going to copy it. I'm going to go to my to my dashboard, and here we go. I'm going to say slide out. So every single time I slide this out, if I slide this out and it's out already, I want to make sure if I actually want to slide this one out, this one should go in. But right now I'm going to have to run this code first. If I have this run, I'm going to run it, and here we go, it changes this for us. So if I click right here, it's out. So I'm going to have to close this now. So if we have that out, I want to actually click on this button. I'm going to hover over on this one, and this one should go in and make this one come out. How are we going to do that? So right now, what we want to do right now is we to actually make sure we copy this, and actually copy, we're going to have to go down and paste this. So what I'm going to name this one to be is what's beneath this. So this one right here is what is my region. My region, very simple, is my region. But right now I want my region to what? To slide in. You get? To slide in. But right now it's not going to work. Right now it's not going to work. Before it works, I'm going to actually have to copy this. When I copy, I go down, I have it pasted right here. So I'm going to actually change this particular, I'm going to change something right here. Let's see what I'm going to change. So now what we need to do right now is actually, we have actually slide out this particular age group, and when we slide out age group, we slide in what? We slide in the what? The region. So now what we need to do right now is to do the same thing right here. When we slide out what? When we slide out region, we need to slide in age group. Now just like here right now, if we slide this particular out here, the region is going to actually slide in. So let's see how that goes. I'm going to run it now and show you how it works. If I actually place my cursor right here, this is going to come out. If I place my cursor on this is going to actually come out, and this will go in. So we can see what the difference is, but it's not really complete. I'm going to actually have to go down and actually make sure I have this copied again. So let me show you the other trick we're gonna have to make sure this is very much dynamic. So I'm gonna actually put this one in, and this is not going to be region again. We don't need to have two region. It's going to be our city. So here is going to be our result, which is this particular one we have right here. So right now if I run it, it's going to actually work fine. So now if I actually go here, we're going to have this, and if I go like here, we're going to have this, because we actually put all others off. So what we're sliding out right now is actually the region. Also now here we are sliding out region, here we are sliding out age group. So let us see how I can do for others. I'm going to go to design mode, and here I'm going to put it on design mode, so that if I go right here, I can be able to actually highlight this. So I'm going to double click on this particular one right here, and actually go right here and change to mouse move. So mouse move, what we need to do is just to copy this, copy it, and actually have it right pasted right here. So now what we need to have right now, we want to actually have the city out. So now we just have to put this one back in again. I hope you're putting attention on it. So I'm gonna say out. So if I actually go and run it, just say run, and I hover over this, I have this. If I hover over this, I have this. If I hover over this, I have this. So the next we're going to do right now is just to go on design mode again, and come right here and click on this, just double click on it. Here we go. Turn this back to mouse move. So if I go back, I'm going to actually have to click and actually change this particular what. I'm going to change where we have out. I'm going to change this one to in. Now we need to actually get the result out, so I'm going to actually have the result be out. I hope this is well understood. So right now we can now see that if I run this now, everything is working fine. Here we go. Can you see that? It's going to go in and give way to other one to actually come out. This is exactly what we need to have. But there is one problem that we have right here right now. What is the problem? The problem is that every single time we actually done bringing this one out, and actually successfully bringing this one out and bringing this one out, if we now remove our cursor, is one remain and the other one's going inside. So how we're going to solve this? We need to do one other trick to actually get this away. So that is where we're going to actually go back to this particular aspect, and I'm going to hit on my property to bring my property up again. So go back to it and actually go for the label we actually have used, which is the active X control. Now I'm going to draw this right here right now, so I can expand it. just like this. I'll make sure I have it close to here. And before we go on that, yeah, I think here is cool. I'm gonna be cool with this exactly. So I'm gonna actually make sure I make it tiny like this. So nice one. So what I'm gonna do right now is for me to actually make sure there is no background color on it and there is no label. This one is gonna be removed, which is cool. Nice one. So what I'm gonna do right now, I'm gonna double click on it. If I double click on it, I'm going to go right here and actually put it on mouse move. So now this is what is going to put it off. So if I actually have this pasted right here, I'm going to actually drive everything in. This one as well is going to go in. This is the last one that we have out, so it's going to be in. So now this very well now turns everything off. So let us run it and actually try to see how it works. So now I'm going to have this closed. So this time around I'm going to test it out and see how this works. If I actually go right here, I have this out, and if I bring my cursor right here, I have it go in. If I bring my cursor and I'm still within this particular environment, we still have it. You can still have it. Immediately I'm just out of it, it goes in. This is exactly how we can have all of them closed at the same time. I hope this helps a lot. So right now we're going to actually concern ourselves about the filter. How can I actually add filter to this? Pivots or slicer, pivot table slicer to this, and every single time we actually come right here, we're going to have it clicked. So when we click, it's going to actually bring that up for us. So how do we do that? So let's see how we can actually do that dynamically. We don't really have any sliders for now, so all we need to do is to go to analyze, and let me just show you just one example to keep the video short. You can do all that for yourself. It's very easy to be done. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to go right here and I'm going to choose this particular one to place filter on. Okay, what about going right here? I'm going to choose this particular one to place filter on. So go right here and I'm going to go to the top level and I'm going to have this filter, and here is go slicer. I'm going to have a slicer on this. So we need slicer for what? We need slicer for city. I'm going to go for this city. We need slicer for city. So this is the only slicer we're going to be getting alone. We're just going to get slicer for city alone. So I'm going to actually have to make sure I make it smaller, just like what we have right here. Too small. Okay, fine, I'm cool with this, right? So I can go ahead and actually connect this to other aspect of my dashboard. So which is this particular gender right here. I'll have it connected to my gender. So we can do the connection right here. Click back on your slicer and hit on this particular connection, and I'm going to connect it to this city, and I can go right here and actually see, okay, where others can I connect this to, so that we can actually work dynamically with this. So I can connect this to my age group. So that is the last one I'm going to have connection with, so that we can actually understand what it is every single time we play slicer, how it's going to slice our data. So right now this is cool. I'm going to actually have to close this because I don't need it. Close it away from here, and we're going to go and pick up our slicer. So now here is it. I'm going to pick this away from here, cut it away from here, and we're going to go to our dashboard. I'm going to have it down right here. So here we go. I'll bring it away from here down to this particular aspect. But before we do something crazy, what we need to do is just to add a shape on this. I'm going to click on this particular shape, and I'm going to go right here and I'm going to hit on this particular shape right here. So we drop it down. So we draw a shape this way. So this shape, we need to change the color of this shape to something very a color that is going to be some kind of outstanding. So we kind of using white color, and I'm going to go for this particular one. I'm going to say no outline. I'm cool with this. So the next thing I'm going to do is for me to choose this particular type of shape again, which is this shape right here. So I'm going to have to drop it down and actually resize this. I'm going to resize it. So I'm going to resize it, and now I'm going to have to turn this around to rotate it. I'm going to go right here and give it the nice rotation like left. So now I'll place it down. So I'm gonna make sure I have this selected, and here is my city. My city is sitting right here. I'll make sure it's pointing at my city, and I'm gonna go and choose white for everything. So put it on white too, white, and I'm gonna remove the outline color, the outline. So right now I'm going to glue them together. Right click on it and actually go and choose grouping. So we have it grouped just like this, right? So the next thing we're going to do go for now is for we to click on our slicer and actually bring our slider on top of it. So it can't go on top of it. All we need to do is for we to actually make sure we are having it in front of. So put it on front. So if I now go and actually go here, so you can see that the slider is too wider than the shape itself. So we need to actually make sure we give it more size. So we now can now click on the slicer and have it dropped inside. So here we go. I'll make it smaller a little bit. So we cool. So right now I have to change the slider's background. If you want to do that, you can actually come right here and go right on this particular one right here and right click. You duplicate this. So once you have it duplicated, you can actually walk around and see how you can actually treat your slider to, nicely, to be nicely formatted based on what you really want. I'm going to go to border. I'm going to say for the whole, I'm going to say no border. I'm going to go to fill. The fill right now for the whole, I'm going to say give it white fill, and that is okay by me. So I'm going to go to the header. So if you want to actually format the header, you can actually say no border for the header as well. So no border. And if you want to do that, you can say okay. I'm going to say okay. So go back to the slicer and choose it. So we're just trying to do some sample right here. So I think that is the nice sampling we can actually do. So I'm going to click on this particular shape as well together with this slicer. Right now I'm going to right click and make sure I group them together. So right now it's actually grouped. It's one all together, one. So right now the next thing I'm going to do is for me to actually go and check what is the name of this particular slicer right here before we actually do something stupid. Click on it and here we go. I'm going to add this to be our slicer. So I can even decide to copy it because it's very small. Copy this away, but I think we can write this. You can remember this, right? I'm gonna actually have it open just like this. So right now the next thing I'm gonna do right now is for me to go to my I think I have it already open. So we need to go to our we need to go to the developer and click on the Visual Basic right here. Let the developer let the Visual Basic some kind of come up right now. So now we are back to Visual Basic. So I'm going to click on this particular dashboard right here and actually write the code that's going to actually do that one, that to actually bring in our slicer and bring and actually hide it again right here. So right now I've written the code formally in this particular tutorial. So you can take a look at video 1, 2, 3. You're going to find it out right there. So I'm not going to explain everything right here. So I'm going to have it pasted and actually track and change some things right here. So right there we name our what? We name our slider to be slicer. So I'm going to actually write slicer right here as well. So slicer. So the shape name is slicer. So I'm going to actually do that. Slicer. So right now what this is doing right now is going to be show slicer. I'm going to say show underscore hide underscore slicer. So right now it is very good to name this properly. So right now it's just like if active sheet, we have a particular shape inside it that is actually named slicer. So the visibility is false right now. So if the button right here we're going to actually assign this to is clicked, so we want to actually show, so we want to be true, and if it is clicked again we want to actually be false. So I've actually written this from the scratch and I'll show you how to do that in video 2. Let's take a look at that video please. So I'm going to click on this one and actually activate it. That is okay, it's really working right now. If we go back to our dashboard and actually pick it up, here we go. So right now what we need to do right now is to assign that to what? So it is to assign that to this particular one right here. So what I'm going to do right now is for me to actually make sure I go on what? I'm going to go click on this here and go on design mode. So go right here. Okay, here you go on design mode. So if I click on this, I'm gonna actually have to move this away from here. I'm gonna move this away a little bit. Oh, sorry for that. Make sure you highlight everything. So I'm gonna click on the image we have right here. So you can see we need to move this. Now I'm gonna click on this. I click on this. Before that, I'm gonna actually have to bring this right to this particular aspect. Ctrl Z will do that for you. So click on this right now, and make sure you have this clicked. And now you can now click on this and have this click as well. So right now, if I right click on this particular one, I'm gonna say assigned. So what am I gonna assign? I'm gonna assign the right button to it. So the button is actually hide and show slicer. So double click, we have it right on this. So what I'm gonna do next now is for me to click on this particular aspect right here. Click on this and this one. So I'm gonna click on every part of this. What I'm gonna do is to make sure I have it to be on the top. So it's gonna be on front, so that when I actually bring this particular one right here, and if I actually bring my slicer right here, it's gonna be on top of the slicer when the slicer is up, if you want that. So if you don't want it, you can actually go back and make sure the slicer is actually coming on top of it. So you go to the front. So now this slicer is coming on top of it. Every single time it's being clicked, the slicer will look like this. Is how it's gonna look like. So right now, let us test it out and see what it is. If I click on this particular one, now it's on design mode, it's nothing's gonna happen. So go back to developer, and from developer, click on your design mode. Where is the design mode? So you return it back. So now here we go. So we can now click on this particular one right here, and here we go. Sorry for that. And now I think it's on design mode. So let us remove it from design mode. Now if we click on this particular one right now, it's going to hide it. If we click it back, it's going to actually bring it out for us. So now it's gone. So if you want to actually take it back, you can see this particular arrow is actually pointing at this, which means the slider belongs to this. So when you actually hover your mouse over it, it's going to bring city and it's going to match up with this. So you can actually click it if it is not out. So now this is exactly what it is. So this is all I want to show you guys how to actually create. So if you've watched to this particular end, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate. So every single time I bring your filter out, so you can actually click on it and you have it filter all the data you have right here. You can see the charts are actually moving right now. This is exactly what it is, and this is exactly what you should know how to create. So implement this in your own personal project, and let's see how you actually create wonders for your boss or for your client. So thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate, and I will look forward to seeing you back on this channel by hitting the subscribe button. You're gonna do me a lot of good to help me grow this YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. Stay blessed and watch other tutorials on this channel right now.